In meetings at Yalta and Potsdam, it had been agreed between Russia, Great Britain, and the United States that occupation of these countries should be temporary and that freely elected governments should be set up as soon as possible. Poland, for example. Since its liberation from the Nazis, Poland had been occupied by the Red Army, and a provisional government referred all matters of importance to Moscow. The government chosen by the people was still in exile. At Yalta, Stalin had agreed that members of the exiled government should be invited to return and that elections should be held to ensure that the Polish people had an opportunity of choosing their own leaders. Trusting the word of the Kremlin, Mikolajczyk, the head of the exiled government in London, returned to Warsaw. Elections were held. Other parties were permitted to stand against the communists. It calmed the anxieties of a liberty-loving people and made a show of fairness to the world. The popularity of Mikolajczyk and his peasant party increased. But the Soviets had retained control of the press censorship and the secret police. 250 of the peasant party candidates were disqualified on absurd excuses. 135 were arrested. 5 died. His own life in danger, Mikolajczyk became once more an exile. In November 1949, Soviet Marshal Rokossowski took over as Polish commander-in-chief. Poland ceased to have any further independent existence. In Romania, Bulgaria, and Hungary, the pattern was the same. Each time, the technique was more efficient. Great Britain and the United States refused to recognize the faked elections as valid. They sent notes of protest to the Kremlin. But Russia ignored the protests. Stalin knew that the protests would not be followed by military action. In fields throughout the West, armaments, the surplus of democracies, lay rusting. The West was no longer in a position to take military action over any issue.